going on today, YouTube? Rob here. Today I've got another deck profile for you. Again, this is a super casual deck. It might be considered somewhat competitive if you have the proper cards for it. But today I'm going to be showcasing you my pure Appliancer deck. It's, again, super casual, not totally competitive. And some of the choices for cards are my personal preference, and yeah, if you guys want to build it and tweak it to your own liking, that's fine. This is, again, my version of it. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel for more fun content, and as always, guys, let's get into it. Alright guys, let's get into this pure Appliancer deck profile. So first we're going to start off with 3 copies of Copy Buckle. You can target one Appliancer monster you control, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, this card's name becomes that monster's name until the end phase. During your main phase, except the turn that this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Appliancer monster you control, special summon one monster with the same name from your hand or graveyard. You can only use each effect of Appliancer Copy Buckle once per turn. Then we're going to go off with 3 copies of Breaker Buckle. During damage calculation, if an Appliancer monster you control battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can discard this card from that battle. That monster you control cannot be destroyed. Also, you take no battle damage. If an Appliancer monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. And then last for the monsters, we have 3 copies of Socket Roll. So if you control an Appliancer monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If another Appliancer Socket Roll is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon one Appliancer Socket Roll from your deck. You can only use each effect of Appliancer Socket Roll once per turn. That's it for the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. 3 copies of Appliancer Test. Target one Appliancer Link monster you control. Special summon as many Link 1 Appliancer monsters from your graveyard as possible to your zones that monster points to, but then banish them at the end phase. You can only activate one Appliancer Test per turn. And we have 3 copies of Electrolyrical World. When this card is activated, you can add one Appliancer card from your deck to your hand, except a field spell. Once per turn, if you link summon an Appliancer Link monster, you can add one Appliancer monster from your graveyard to your hand. Once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, you can move one Appliancer monster you control to another of your main monster zones. You can only activate one Appliancer Electrolyrical World once per turn. And then we're going to have 3 copies of Appliancer Rules. Target one Appliancer monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but place it at the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. That's it for your main Appliancer spells. Next we've got a bunch of one-off spells that I've added just as a personal thing. 1 copy of Malevolent Nuzzler. A monster equipped with this card increases its attack by 700 points. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can pay 500 life points and place it at the top of your deck. 1 copy of Premature Burial. Pay 800 life points, select 1 monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face-up attack position, and equip it with this card, and when this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. 1 copy of 7 Completed. A machine-type monster equipped with this card increases either its attack or defense by 700 points, and you cannot change it as long as this card remains face-up on the field. 1 copy of Black Pendant. Increase your monster's attack by 500 points, and when this card leaves the field, you take 500 points of damage. 1 copy of Rush Recklessly. Target 1 face-up monster on the field. It gains 700 attack until the end phase. And finally, 1 copy of Mystical Space Typhoon, just for spell and trap removal. Next, let's move on to the traps. 1 copy of Dust Tornado. So you can destroy 1 spell or trap card on your opponent's side of the field, and then set 1 spell or trap card from your hand. Sorry, that's a 3 of. That's on me. 1 copy of Gift of the Mystical Elf to increase your life points by 300 points for each monster on the field. 1 Enchanted Javelin. When your opponent's monster attacks, increase your life points by the attacking monster's attack points. 1 copy of Threatening Roar, so your opponent cannot attack this turn. 3 copies of Trap Hole. If the attack of a monster summoned by your opponent, excluding special summon, is 1,000 points or higher, you can destroy that monster. 3 copies of Wabaku. Makes all battle damage 0 for the rest of the turn. 2 copies of 7 Tools of the Bandit. Pay 1,000 life points and negate the effect of a trap and destroy it. 1 Magic Cylinder and 1 Mirror Force to round off the traps and your main cards in this deck. This is my personal take on this deck. Yes, I know there are better cards to suit machine types and this archetype, but given what I have and just the fact that this is a super casual deck, that's what I went with. And now let's get to your extra deck. 3 copies of Laundry Dragon. So this cannot be used as link material the turn that it is link summoned. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. Once per turn after damage calculation, if this card is co-linked, if this co-linked card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish the opponent's monster once per turn after damage calculation. If this monster is not co-linked and battles an opponent's monsters, you can destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Three copies of Kappa Scale. Cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. You contribute this card, this co-linked card, and special summon 1 appliance or link monster from your graveyard except Kappa Scale. You contribute this card that is not co-linked, special summon 1 level 4 or lower appliance or monster from your graveyard, and you can only use this effect once per turn. 3 copies of Celtipus. This linked card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or their monster's attacks. During damage calculation, if an appliance or link monster you control is co-linked to this card that battles an opponent's monster. Your battling monster gains attack equal to the number of monsters co-linked to this card times 1,000. During the damage step or damage calculation, and this is only during the damage calculation, once per turn, if an appliancer or link monster or monsters you control that is not co-linked to this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can draw one card. 3 copies of Vacuelephant. This card cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. This card can attack your opponent directly while it is not co-linked. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. If this card is co-linked, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's main monster zone and destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn. And finally, to round off for our extra deck, we have 3 copies of Dryer Drake. So this card cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. This linked card gains 1,000 attack. Once per turn during your battle phase, if this card is co-linked, except during the damage step, you can then switch the location of 2 appliancer monsters in your main monster zones, including this card. If you do, the other monster can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Once per turn, when you can make a once per turn when this card is not co-linked, it is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, like I said, this deck is kind of casual, and it's my personal preference on a pure appliancer deck. You can change out the trap cards and spell cards and other cards and add cards for your liking, but this is my pure variant to the deck, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. That's game!